Beloved heart, before we begin, I have a special gift for you. If you've been feeling the intensity of Earth's rising plasma light codes and want to stay centered in your body and heart and energy field, I've created a free light language quantum grounding activation just for you. This transmission will help you stabilize, integrate, and align with the new frequencies flowing onto the planet. Simply join my mailing list. See the link that's in the show notes to receive instant access. Let's ground into the light together.
This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode on my podcast, Ascended Earth. I'm Monica Bermudez. I'm your host. Today, we're diving into a realm that so many sensitive empaths and intuitive beings have been waiting for. Healing that speaks the language of the body, not the mind. I'm joined by a transformational coach, Edna White, my soul sister, who specializes in clairsentience, the ability to clearly feel energetic and emotional information. And Edna is a speaker and an author and also a consultant. And together we explore how the body's subtle cues, what she calls the felt sense, can guide us into deep trauma resolution, nervous system repair, intuitive clarity far beyond what traditional talk therapy offers. So, if you've ever wondered why you feel everything so intensely, or how your sensitivity could actually become your greatest teacher, this episode's for you. And lately, the theme of heightened sensitivity is rising for a reason. We're entering a new evolutionary phase of being human, a time where deeper self connection unlocks profound healing, activation, and remembrance. Sensitivity is no longer something to manage, it's the frequency that empowers our next level. And everybody has their own medicine and perspective to their methods. So let's step into the wisdom of the body and begin this episode by welcoming Edna to the podcast. So, welcome and thank you for being here with us to share your wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I would love to hear more of your backstory, for the audience to get to know you a little more, like what led you to all of this,
Oh, goodness.
kind of work.
Okay. If you're talking about like, as far as coaching and everything, I kind of culminated everything together because I was getting older and I was like, okay, what am I going to do with all this knowledge and this information? And I kind of call it my bishop stage. So I'm older. So when you're in the religious realm, um, there's stages that you are in, and so the wisdom part is the bishop state, knowing all the information, and culminating it all together and kind of like disseminating it to the people. And so that's where I am at right now, this point in my life. So what we call consultant,
Mhm.
that's what it is. It really is what it is. But along the way, I started to go back to who I really was. Like, so authenticity will take you to um, your original self. Like, I can tell you that I really know myself a lot from my 5-year-old person. That's the person who I am. All that other fluff, when people started telling me what to do, when I was going to kindergarten, they tell me what all to do, where to go, all of those school times, all those systemic times were not really me. It was the 5-year old age that I had no one to answer to except for my mom.
Mhm.
That was it, and um, that's the stage that we we go back to when we become authentic, and then we become our original self. So when in my original self, I was a Claire. I could see what was going on with people. I would tell my mom, and she goes, "How do you know that?" And um, she would like, I was like, she's like, it's not happening right now, but I would foresee, I could feel the energy, and sure enough, it would be true. And she was like, you go in there, because she was like, too much. But and also I was the why girl. Like I would ask her mom, so she'd say, you're in trouble, and I would say, well, why? And I had to, she was like, you always had made me explain why I was doing something or why this was to be. So it was always like I had to see the whole encompassing picture or feel the whole picture. So um, in clairsentience, I think all of us kind of have all the clairs, but there's one that kind of sticks out more than the others.
Mm-hmm.
And clairsentience to me, it sits very closely with together with trauma recovery. Then we know it's really we know it. Perfect example. Here's me. So I'm working on me, and I'm talking to my friend. She's asking me about um, a money situation with her. Like, she's asking me, how does a HELOC work? And I'm telling her, and I noticed that my hands started shaking. I'm like, what's that about? Like, I'm not even talking about my money. I'm talking about her money, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm having this reaction. I'm shaking like both hands. So I was like, I gotta go. Because she's like, what's the matter? I said, I just discovered something that there was, that I was responding to a trauma around money. And so she said, okay, you got to call me back and tell me about that. I said, okay. So I was like, what is this about? So of course you have to ask yourself those very intricate questions.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what is that about? And after like meditating for a while and just letting it sit there, staying in it, I realized I had no safety around it. There was no safety. Money wasn't safe, like at
Mm-hmm.
all for me. And as a little child, it wasn't safe. Like
Gotcha.
it wasn't safe. Like I asked my mother because she was always working. She's like, oh, because I gotta make money. I gotta make money. So something always suffered when money was involved. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like, or if we didn't have money, then we didn't have lights, and we didn't have this, and we didn't have that, we didn't get this. So it was always something that made us suffer when it came down to money. And I realized that even just talking about somebody else's money. So it resides in your body, in your nervous system. That's what I
Yeah.
found. So being a clear, right? There's so closely related because trauma teaches the body to be hyper aware, right?
Yeah.
Always scanning, always interpreting danger, right?
Yeah.
But Claire, on the other hand, is deeper. It's intuitively sensitive, your ability to feel what's happening beneath the surface. So I was
Mm-hmm.
able to see what was beneath the surface really quickly. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like days, like if you were to do it yourself, right? Or if somebody would do it for you, or you were going to therapy, it would take days, maybe even months to figure it out, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I tapped into that, my clairsentience, and saw what was beneath in record time. So that's why I do what I do. Is that now I tap into that when I'm working with any client. I step into that space and utilize that.
Yeah, that's a very powerful tool to have, the clairsentient. And I've, heard, through my guides that the clairsentient is actually one of the most important ones. Like all
Hmm.
the clairs, have to do with our
Yeah.
intuitive psychic ability. It's just different formats and different ways of receiving it, right? The information.
Hmm.
And what clairsentient is so important, especially like if you're clairvoyant and you see like these certain entities, right? You want to discern through your clairsentience what your body's feeling, if it is what it says that it is, if it's an entity
Yeah.
that is of love and light, but it could be one that's disguised, as like something else, but it's not really
Exactly. Because it
being,
can
you know?
disguise. Yeah.
And so that's why clairsentient is so important to use as a discernment of, being able to tap into the energy of it through your body. Your body will tell you.
Hmm.
It's kind of like in the example you just shared, the trauma was the money, how your hand was shaking.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really amazing story. And right now, like the collective, I feel like so many people are like going through that trauma with money, because
Yeah.
the financial system
It's
is all
true.
changing.
Yes,
So I definitely want
absolutely.
to tap more into that, about the trauma of money and like maybe like the audience would be interested. I think a lot of people are interested to hear, how they can overcome such a
Mm-hmm.
way of overcoming that trauma with money. But I do feel it's a lot to do with the safety because right
Oh
now
yeah,
so many,
absolutely.
especially like in the United States, and I feel like even in the world, are people starting to lose their jobs like unexpectedly, you know.
Yeah,
So there's a
yeah,
whole thing with
yeah.
money that and I've been sharing, information about the energetics of money and all this other stuff, and it's all tied,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, to our nervous system.
Absolutely.
know, um,
It really is. When we live through any type of trauma, people often tell us that our feelings we're feeling too much, right? They always
mm,
say, "You ever heard that? Where you're just
yeah,
feeling too much, or you're being too sensitive, or you're
yeah,
being overreactive." You hear those words all the time, right?
yeah, which feels like degrading, right? Because like
Yes,
you're
right,
overreacting or like
right.
too sensitive.
Right.
And I
But the
used to
truth
get
is,
that
your
a lot.
body is learned to read the world. Your body is there to read the world. That's why you have two hands to touch it,
Yeah.
right? And your skin is a sensor. So
Hmm.
your body's supposed to read the world. They have made it so that your body, you now internalize all of it. Like
Hmm.
every sensation that gives you an alert to something, you now internalize it and you don't use it. So you're actually doing the opposite of what your body really is supposed to be doing because
Yeah.
it's supposed to be telling you, hey, this doesn't feel good, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't feel safe or, we get
Mm-hmm.
into this survival
Right,
mode and, we start talking about like, well, change the narrative, for example, from the
right,
survival mode into like, which is all tied into the victim mindset also.
right,
It's
exactly.
so easy to blame others, right, for
Right,
our situation or the way we are. But think about like, switching the mindset into like thinking about what the infinite possibilities of all the opportunities that are presented, all at once. And
right.
that's the part that I feel is like the hardest, for many to like switch into.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to be in that victim mindset. And I feel like it's a lot to do with the different programming and experiences that we've had
Right.
with human body.
Yeah, right. And we've always talked if we start getting like very like heightened like this, like that's anxiety. Calm that down, or
Hmm.
give a medication. But these when you're in those situations, those are signals that there's something is not right. Because
Hmm.
all it does is dull down your intuition. And your
Yeah, it
intuition is
does.
supposed to be working. It's supposed to be working. But when they're medicating you or they're telling you you have anxiety and that's
Hmm.
not supposed to be. But if you're reacting to something, it's mostly out of you don't feel safe. You don't feel good about this situation. It's mostly out of that. It's no safety. So you have to learn to listen to the body. You have to learn to listen because it's the current of the intuition. It's a current. So
Hmm. Yeah,
when you're not listening to your intuition, right? You're keeping it quiet, and it's telling you're seeing the signals, and and not you're just I can't pay attention to it. Then what happens to then? Then the current goes outside to the body, and the body starts now you
shaking.
know, creating either like the hands going or something is visually happening, right? So that's just your intuition alerting you, but you've held it in so long that now it's all over the body. It's pinging. That's what emotions are. Is energy in motion all through your body. It's not through your mind. It's through your body. It's now
Mm.
going all over the place. So you need to pay attention to that. That's the first step is like paying attention to it. And I like something that you said on a whole different show. You said that we have to. What the word you used? I'm trying to remember the word you said. I said it, but you had said that that we have to be so like awake to it, or something to that word that you said.
Awareness.
Yes, you said that, and you said, and I was like, wow, that makes sense. But we're not. We're not. We seem to go with the flow of emotions,
Mm,
but we have to like almost like click it off and say,
yeah.
that's telling me something, and I
Mm,
have to listen and stay in it. That's what you said. You said stay there. Just it's
yeah.
okay to reside there for a little bit
Yeah.
and just sit with it. Sit with it.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
one of the biggest part is the awareness, because and I did this before. I kept ignoring, certain feelings that were coming up and numbing myself in different ways.
Yeah.
And so in order to get through it, you have to like feel it. Feel all the emotions that are rising, everything that you're sensing. What is your body's reaction to like stuff, because the body will
Hmm.
signal, like even when there's a health crisis, it will start to alert the body and
Right.
certain signs. And so that's why it's so important that we keep our awareness on what the body is telling us. It's like having your own best friend communicating with your body,
That's right.
because it is alive in its way. It's part of your guide also here on earth, as a physical
That's
guide
right.
as well. And so yeah, everything's about energy, and there will come a point when a lot of the health systems will adopt more of the frequency and the vibration for healing. It's already like a trend now, sound
Oh
healing.
yeah. Oh yeah.
What I've
Absolutely.
been finding is like, with all the drugs that are ongoing, it's like it's just numbing people, like it's just patching a
Exactly.
little band-aid, but it doesn't really like cure the actual root
Nope.
symptom.
I'm gonna tell you, I went to the physical therapist and I had back spasms so very badly. And she says, I'm gonna take you in this room. And I don't know the name of the machine. And so it was this, it looked like a it looked like a V, and then it had two little balls on top, but it was electric. And so it was like shooting electricity through to my muscles. I was like,
Mm.
so I was
Wow.
like, 100%, it turned it around in like it was overnight. It was being overnight. It was like immediately. She's like, your muscles are so tight, and the way their muscles were so tight, the electricity is going through it. It's like it revived them, and they started tingling because they're really supposed to be doing that.
Mhm.
And it was like it was gone. I was like,
Wow.
but I didn't believe, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, electricity. Yeah.
That was in physical therapy?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that must be new because I don't remember
Yes.
any of them using that. Like, like
Yes, exactly, exactly. It was
yeah,
so cool. I was like, "Wow, this is new stuff. This is really new stuff."
yeah. So you were pretty much electrocuted in order to get
Yeah.
things moving
I
in the
was
electrons.
recharged.
You were supercharged, literally.
Mhm.
Get the electrons and the neutrons moving. Oh,
Together, yeah.
but that's really what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like I said, we are like a walking circuit board for those who are like electrical engineers. So
Mhm.
one of the components that we have are electronics, energy based.
It
Uh,
is, it's true.
and so for, having sound and vibration in the future, which is now, coming into like this trend, a lot of scientists are doing a lot of studies on that, and finding that, for instance, like, they're curing cancer with like sound frequency and like vibration is one of the latest
Yeah.
articles that I read.
Mhm.
It's just like the beginning. So imagine
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
10 years from now, like things evolving
Absolutely.
faster with technology.
Right. And when I had my hip surgery, um, they had megahertz music playing.
Really?
Megahertz. Yes, megahertz. So,
Wow.
there's different megahertz that heal the body.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, you're playing megahertz music? Because I play it here. Because,
Yeah.
there's certain frequencies that help with brain and body
Yeah.
healing. And
That's
so
new.
I was like, you're playing megahertz? It's like, oh, you know about it? I was like, of course, like, of course, but I couldn't believe it. It was part of you could hear it playing it was in my room. I was in my own room, and I was like, "Wow, I can hear it." It's like,
Mhm.
wow, this is pretty cool. So they're even incorporating it in hospital settings.
Yeah, that's new.
Yeah.
That means things are really shifting.
Yes.
Food is pretty
Yes.
cool. They
I
used to
thought it
say
was super cool. Totally super cool.
they
So
used to call us woo, now they're adopting
yeah,
it.
now we're not
They're
woohoo, we're
science.
Yahoo now. Everybody's Yahoo.
Yahoo! We're a Yahoo now instead of woohoo.
Yes, we're not woohoo anymore.
We're gonna
Yes.
change the terminology here. Start a new trend. Call it
Yes.
Yahoo moving forward.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, I definitely feel like this is all, a much better way than therapy talk, is really
Yeah.
just working with the
Yeah.
energy. So what are, some of your methods that you use with your clients? Can you give like an example of one, that maybe with
So
trauma of money, like how would you work with someone like that?
or somebody with trauma, with money trauma. So a lot of it is, again, like I say, it's around safety. So we kind of go back and we use 432 megahertz. That would be part of what we use. One of the things that as soon as we get together, I play that. That's in the back, kind of the background, and so we use that, and then we do that, and then we work on that a lot. And then the next step we do is they start talking about what's your first experience with money?
Mhm.
What's your, tell us about your.
Unlock your limitless potential with the monthly multiversal circle of creation. This sacred quantum manifestation ritual will awaken your inner power and connect you to the successful versions of yourself across the multiverse. Clear blocks, amplify your creative energy, and set powerful intentions for abundance, love, and possibilities. Activate your galactic aspects, recalibrate your nervous system, and manifest your dreams with cosmic clarity. Available in person and via Zoom. Join us for this transformative experience today.
What's that called? Your what do we get when we was young? I've just lost it. What do we get when we were young? Our allowances. So let's talk about
Okay.
allowance.
Yeah.
We start talking about that. We start talking about allowance. We don't even talk about anything up to date.
Yeah.
We talk about allowance. You know, tell us what you would buy. Tell us. We talk about anything that's around that, and then we move from that, and then we literally jump from that to adulthood, and then they can start to see, wow, I see the correlation with
Patterns. Yeah.
this and this,
Mhm.
and what I'm doing now. Perfect example. I was working with an insurance agent. She was an insurance agent at the time, and so she says, I work in this company and I run this group and I mentor this group and I make, and she told me, she said, I make $999,999 a year. And I just can't seem to get over that, right? She couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
So she didn't get over the money. So I said, okay, let's talk about what's your favorite subject? So, of course, we're playing 432 megahertz, and we're talking about it. She says, I couldn't stand math. And I said, well, why? Because I came home when I think she said 6. Came home at, no, it wasn't, math is not at 6th grade, but it was like a little bit, like 8 or 9 in that grade, that area. And she said, I came home and I got a B. And my father flipped out, screaming at me, whooped me. She said he whooped her and made her sit there and think about why she got a B, right? And he said, why have a 95, right?
Mhm.
And you can have 100, and you're never going to get there. You're never going to get there because you're doing this, this, and this. So she's telling me this, and I said, okay. So I said, so tell me about now at your job, like what's going on with that? And she goes, I have this one lady at the job. She always like, you're never gonna get that. And I said, and then the light I saw in her face is like,
Light bulb.
and I said, yeah. And she said, I would have never put those two things together.
Yeah.
I said, now you have to change the narrative about that
Yeah.
you're never, now you're going to, or you're working towards. We have to change the narrative around that so it can get out of your head. Because think about when you were like, in that the elementary school age, right? To now, that is grooved in your brain, like it's in your waves. So as soon as it gets around money, okay, now, and I said, that's why you're making the 90 something, because that was your last grade in that school that your father kind of went crazy on you.
Yeah.
I would have never thought about that. And so we worked through it, changed the narrative. It was really a quick transition.
Yeah.
And I think within a year, she left that job, started her own insurance company, and not only started her own insurance company, but was applied to do every type of insurance and got it. And she was like this one stop, shop for all the insurances. And she said she was well over that. And she couldn't believe it. She just couldn't believe it. Out of that one little change in narrative, she could not believe the change. So things like that.
Yeah. I mean, that says that a lot of us are carrying a lot of narratives that are not ours.
Mhm.
I would say
That's
for the
right.
majority of the percentage of the things that we hold, the trauma.
Mhm.
And a lot of it's very like so subconscious that, it's like the moment that you become aware is the moment that, you can make that change. So that's why like awareness is so key. And
Absolutely.
using the 432, like because that's the solfeggio type frequencies, right? They're like
Mhm.
ancient frequencies, which that one in particular is like a very calming state. So when
Mhm.
you get into this calm state, you're easier to like open up
That's
and
right.
be a little more perceptive,
Yes.
like
Yes.
what
Because
that's
kind of guiding people, they're like, okay, they're already skeptical, so you want to relieve that,
exactly.
right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
But it helps to minimize the fear because they're coming in with a lot of fear already on
right.
the trauma, because that's really what it is, money trauma.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
and I feel like so many of us are going through that right now. It's experiencing money trauma through job loss.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Many people are.
Oh yeah.
And so these are golden nuggets because I see like, there's a lot more of like certain programming that people use 432 hertz. So some of the things that people can start adopting, if they're looking for support, is
Mhm.
to go to you, or they can also go to program themselves too through like,
Yes,
like
absolutely.
there's a lot of different subliminal messages programming.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it helps them to reconnect. The most important thing is we've been disconnected from our bodies for years. You know,
Oh yeah.
that's thus autopilot. We get up, get coffee, go to work, do this,
Pretty
and
much.
it was without a doubt, and we start the day over again. So it's like, what is that day? Groundhog Day. It's the same thing every
Yeah.
day. You can
Habitual.
ask anybody like, "How was your day?" Good. They'll say automatically. What did you do different? If you ask them a different question, you're like, they have to think because they're on autopilot. So they've been disconnected
Autopilot.
from their bodies
Yes.
for so long. This kind of puts them back into their skin,
Is
um,
yeah.
teaching them to pay attention and be sensitive, all
Yeah.
that tightness. Because, when you're on autopilot, you act like a robot. You're tight, you're not calm.
Mhm.
You're under pressure and it's like this, and so it's automatic and you don't even. I remember asking my granddaughter, I said, what did you learn? What was different that you learned? And she goes, that's a new question, she says to me. She's sharp. She's like, that's a new question. I said, yeah. What did you learn that was different that you learned the other day? And she had to think. She went, and then she's like, I got to think about that. And then later on, she came back and told me. And then she comes back and she says, are you going to give me like different questions every time? It's like, I think I am.
Yeah. It helps to put people in a
Right.
different perspective.
Right. Connect her back to her body because most of the time we're in autopilot. We just
Yeah.
go through the day, you know?
Yeah, we're into this like whole habitual programming,
Yes,
the
exactly,
groundhog,
exactly.
and it's like, I think when we all went through the pandemic, that broke the rhythm, because then
Oh
people
yeah,
were like,
oh
wait
yeah.
a second, what is this place? Is this home? You know,
I
because a lot
think
of people were
everybody,
at work.
you either stayed with somebody or you didn't. You know, it's like, or you stayed with you got so intimate with yourself. I can tell you, I'm looking on Facebook and all my friends. I know them for years. I didn't know they knew how to do clay objects. I didn't know that they knew how to paint. Everybody was doing something different, crocheting. Making like sewing. It was crazy that everybody, how much people were being creative,
Yeah.
and just like really learning and teaching other people. Like, it was crazy. It's crazy during that time. So much information.
Yeah, that was like a very deep awakening in many different ways, right? People get
Hmm.
to their creative side that they didn't realize they had.
Yep.
And then other people just, realize that the partner they were with is probably not the best. Spending more time with them at home.
Yes, yes. It's a trick. It really was. It was. I was saying, like, people would say, "Oh, guess they're not together." And I was seeing like more breakups. I was like, "Oh, I guess they really didn't get the picture. Like, they didn't see the person, you know, truly, because they were disconnected from themselves and just going on autopilot. And that's what we do a lot of times. We go on autopilot and we stay with somebody because we're on autopilot. It's like that's
Pretty
the
much.
way it's been all these years. Never mind me being happy or you
Mhm.
know living fully. And I'm
Yeah,
just saying, I would go regular. That's the way life is supposed to be. And it's
yeah,
not. It's not.
yeah. You pretty much put yourself aside, and
Yes,
I still
absolutely,
need some of that self
absolutely.
care too, like you know,
Yeah, a
and
lot of my clients, they would say to me, I'll say to them, "Who are you?" "I'm a wife, I'm a mother," and they start. I said, "No, those are all roles,
yeah,
that you have defined. Those are not who
interesting.
you are." Then
Yeah,
what am I supposed to say? I said, "You're supposed to figure that out. I'm not supposed to tell you what it is. I asked you a question, you couldn't answer it, so now that's the question that I
interesting.
really dig deep." A lot of times, they were like, "I never wanted this, and this, and this, and this. But this is what somebody told me. This is what I am supposed to have. This, and this."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Yeah, but it's your job. It's
There's
the reason why you came here is to depict your own life. To be
yeah,
individually around mind, body, spirit, and soul. Period.
yeah,
That's all you. That's all you. You're not supposed to be like everybody else. It's
mhm.
supposed to be just individuals."
Exactly. Yeah, I love that question that you ask people. Because in most cases, like we were talking about, it's all about the stories that we're carrying around, and so
Yes.
we identify ourselves with the roles. That's why, like this year in particular, is like a whole other level of
Mm-hmm.
people are losing their. Now is all about the finance. All about like the job loss,
Yeah.
and with that, people are identifying themselves to their job. They see
Right. Exactly.
title they hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's part of the year of the snake, is the shedding of
Yeah.
the old identity that has been like, we've
Assigned to us. Yeah.
assigned and outgrown.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there's a new part of us, because in the beginning you were talking about authenticity, right? Is really tapping into the authenticity of ourselves, which is at the soul level. And so there is this emergence of this soul calling, this heart calling
Hmm.
is, starting to emerge, and asking each and every one of us who you really are. But
Yep.
in that simultaneous way is also saying, you know who you are, because
Right.
this is who we are,
Absolutely.
and so tapping more in that reconnection of self, are we able to re-identify ourselves? And so now with 2026 coming along, this is the year of the horse. You're gonna
Yeah.
shed the old skin and grab the reins and move forward with this new identity that you are,
Yeah.
authenticity self.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, so that's such a key point that you just made, because oftentimes we define ourselves by the roles that we play, but we
Yeah.
never really take the time to really reflect on who we really are at the core essence of our soul.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
most, important. important part. And so that, leads us back to all this trauma with like, being a clairsentient and the trauma, um, really converting all those traumas into like,
Yeah.
empowerment, I would say.
Yes, exactly. Empowerment. Yeah, and
Empowerment.
it's so,
Yeah, I love that.
yes.
Yeah,
In.
you had said something on the post, I think, where it said like
Yeah, it's empowering. Yeah.
involution or something.
Yeah. It
There's
was,
like
yeah, it was really good. I was like,
yeah.
yeah. And you know what? It also gives you the compass, when you're working with the class and working on your traumas, right? Using the class sentience, it gives you a compass for boundaries because we don't, you know, we live in our pain a lot of times. And
Mhm.
like, so, one woman told me that, oh no, you have to be good to people. I said, boundaries don't have anything to do with being good to people.
Right.
It has to do with being good to yourself. And I said, if you're allowing yourself to be overworked and overdone and all these overs, then
Mm.
you're not having boundaries and you're a people pleaser. She
Yeah.
said, how is that possible? I
And then
said,
you turn into like a doormat.
that's right. I said, you're coming home, you work 8 hours, then you go and do something for somebody else that
Mhm.
probably could get somebody to do it, but because you've been ingrained that it's the kind or the good thing to do, and you do it, but you hate it, you're
Mhm.
not only doubly doing yourself a dishonor, you're doing them a dishonor, and you really lying. So what do? You're pleasing somebody that they know they can feel it. You don't really want to do it, but you're doing it, and so they're okay. They'll keep using you because you'll do it anyway. They don't care. So they walk all over you. You become a doormat. Now
Mhm.
you're the doormat because now they know that you don't really want to do it, but you're going to do it. So they're going to keep calling you to do it, and they can find another way, but they're going to call you because you're the doormat. So now you become a doormat. What do you become? Resentful, full of dirt, just like any doormat. Everybody wipe their feet on them, gets dirt all in them.
Exactly.
Nobody ever shakes it out, and the dirt's still sitting there, and you're getting full of resentment, and then you blow up, right? And you
Yeah.
say the wrong things, you do the wrong things, and now there's this rift that could have been avoided way back by saying no.
Just saying a nice no.
That's right.
And I know like a lot of people, and I was one of them, it was just very hard for me to say no. It's always like I felt bad. Like if I said no, they're gonna hate me. So that's part of the people pleasing too.
Yes.
But
Yes.
there's a way to say no also without sounding so aggressive,
Yes.
right? Because then some people would take it to an extreme and be like, get like super aggressive about their no's.
Right.
You don't have to
No.
do that level.
No. I'll be like, no,
Just
I
say
can't do
no.
that. Yeah. I remember one of my colleagues said that he asked me to do something, right? And so I said no. And he looked at me, he said, I don't like these short answers. I said, well, no. I wouldn't give him an excuse like why I didn't want to do it. I said, no. And he said, I got to get used to these short answers. I said, you do. I said, because no is a full sentence. It's got a period at the end.
Yeah,
And it's not aggressive. It's not rude. It's just no. I don't have to explain to you why I don't want to do it.
exactly.
It's just no. And people don't know how to take that, so they turn it in, oh, that's aggressive. No, it's not. If I go to you, scream at you and say no, but that's under a circumstance. Depend on what the circumstance is. You're yelling that. It just
Yeah,
depends. But when
yeah.
you're saying no as a period, people can't accept that. They've always heard no with a comma and an explanation so that they can get their foot in the door and then get you to do it eventually.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, just simple no, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Simple
No
no.
explanation needed. Um,
It's needed because they will keep asking you, and um the energy of some people is that, I'm gonna make it easy for myself. That's their energy, and I see that a lot with people, and their energy is to, you never heard of the statement ride somebody else's coattail. So
Yeah.
I'd rather, if I'm walking somewhere, I'd rather get on your coattail, you drag me where I gotta go, and then I'll jump off. Right?
Okay.
so
That's an
so
interesting
people,
analogy. Yes.
yeah. So some people do that. I know that Edna or Monica can take me down the street, and I need to go to Sweezy's, and they're going down to the next store. So let me maybe Buns, and I don't want to walk. So let me call this person because they got the carte blanche to do that. They'll call you, get on your coattail, and you'll say, yeah, okay. And then you end up stressed more because now you're pulling more, right? You got more in your basket. You're pulling more, expending your energy, but they're just like riding. And they get off at their stop, and you now are bushed and tired, and you have to go down the street. And it's like maybe a couple stops down, but you're tired because you're carrying two people versus one. And they've zapped your energy. Now
Yeah.
they've stolen your energy.
Yeah.
They've stolen your energy, and that's a great place to be in, like clairsentience energy. Just picks it up. Yeah, no, that's not something I
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah, and a
Mm.
lot of clairsentients carry a lot of energy cords, I would say.
Yeah,
That are
and I've learned to kind of disconnect those two. It's like
yeah.
because I used to take on other people's feelings. I go, I have to do something about that, and I really don't. I don't have to.
Yeah.
It's I had to learn this is not mine. This is not
Separate.
mine. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I mean it's like it's being like a sponge, right, of like
Yeah.
energy. That's a
Yes.
good way to
Yes.
prove like, that's
Yes.
what an empath and a clairsentient are, like especially when you're like ultra like, sensitive,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
sponge. And so that's part of the mastery is learning how to like navigate those energies and starting with that awareness first, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's something that it's the heavy energy that one feels carrying the burden.
Yeah.
It's really about like a lot of the different stories that are still like energetically connected, like these energy
Right.
cords. So they become almost like leeches, like energy
Yep,
leeches, I would call
exactly.
them.
Exactly. They do. It's just completely, you're right. That's the perfect word is leech. It's like
Yeah.
they want to take your energy, and they know that. I mean, people often say, I don't know why I get these types of guys, right? I don't know why I get these type of girls,
Oh yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
you're putting what goes before you is the negative energy goes out first. So,
Yeah.
okay, so there's two types of energy. You got they got that positive, I think it's is it a blue, the black one? Well, there's two colors, red and black, right? Red and black. The
Uh,
wires,
yes,
the
but I think
wires.
that like
Yeah, right?
oh
I
yeah,
don't know
I
which,
see what you're talking about, the energy
yeah,
wires
right?
or
So,
like
so you get
yeah,
the
the black
wires,
and
right?
red, yeah.
Yeah, black and red. So
Mhm.
they're coming out of you. So if somebody is walking near you, the same thing, they're picking up on the energy that they most put out.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's why you're getting that. They're not they're not seeking you out like a stalker. You're drawing them to you. You're like, zzz, okay, there you go.
Yeah,
You're zapping them. You're zapping them.
yeah,
So yeah, that's what's happening. We don't just see each other. We energize each other. That's the whole thing.
yeah. And I guess in the case of a bomb, if you cut the wrong color code, it'll blow up.
Yes, and it crosses the wires, and then boom, blows up. Blows up. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's a good one. I like that. So we're gonna wrap it up, but this is a really great conversation, by the way. It's very important key points to
Yes.
make. And but just want to tell the audience that you can find all of Edna's like contact information in the show notes. Get in touch with her, if you need any support. And also we've been doing every 2 weeks our live TikTok.
Yeah.
Anybody's on TikTok, come and watch us. We have different topics, every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The last one was about the lie of the work-life balance.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was really good. Yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent.
So speaking of like trauma, right? In relation to clairsentient, that was a really great topic for that.
Yes, absolutely.
So, would you like to share some of your final thoughts for the audience to take away from all of this?
I guess the real breakthrough is when you're sensitive, and it isn't, just know that it isn't a wound, it's the wisdom. And you have to be, very cognizant of it, because we're programmed to say, oh, that sensitivity is a wound, but it's not. It's really wisdom, and it's telling you something. Trauma only distorts it, but healing refines it. So, that's the real thing. Is take on that healing, and you do it. You do it.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Well said. An empowerment for all of you to really alchemize, transmute those wounds, and come up with the best version of yourself, right? A much stronger, refined person that deals skins and move forward and, hop on the horse.
That's
Like
it.
go riding
For 2026,
2026.
you better.
Thank you so much for being a
Oh,
guest.
you're welcome, Monica. No problem.
Thank you to the audience for listening to this, and I'll catch you in another episode.
Bye now.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field. Sending you so much love.